to my YouTube channel. If you love to solve a mystery, you've come to the right place. Grab yourself a pen and paper and together we're going to look at mysteries and try to solve them. My name is Beth MacIntosh. I'm a physical medium in the same way that physical media transmits data in data communications. I have seen apparitions and visions since I was a child. Victims of crime send me downloads of information that give me the facts of every case. So let me show you how this works. When you send a text message or a picture or video from this mobile device to another device, you do not see the pictures or words float in the air and land on the chosen device. Instead, you take for granted that the images and words magically appear from one device to the other. In reality, electromagnetic energy is used to transmit your message via satellite and then arrive at its destination. It's the same with mediumship. I can see the data better if I wear a blindfold, similar to a virtual reality mask. It is science that allows me to see into the past and into the future, not hocus pocus. You will witness how this works firsthand. I invite you to write down clues and facts and piece together what we believed happened in every case. Enter comments below, but please be respectful of other people's comments and keep this an engaging and respectful channel. Thank you so much. So, let's get into today's mystery. So guys, this is the mystery of Stonehenge. We are blessed in this country with Neolithic, Bronze Age and Iron Age history that has been conserved by such organisations as the Amazing English Heritage and the incredible National Trust. This ensures that memorial sites are protected and various archaeological societies strive tirelessly to establish how our ancestors lived and survived during these periods. Using the latest technology, archaeologists can pinpoint quite accurately time periods and uncover artefacts that can advertise tools and utensils that were used for everyday living. This means that ancestors have left evidence of how they lived and worked. But despite all the latest technological advancements and close analysis of ancient artefacts, there remain some mysteries that baffle scientists and archaeologists to this day. One such mystery is the exact purpose and meaning of Stonehenge. The circle of stones was thought to have originated from the hills of West Wales, where an exact same circle foundation was uncovered very recently. It has been proven that the original Stonehenge was built in West Wales to the exact specification in terms of being 100 metres in diameter, but boreholes were found in Wales showing that the great stones were uplifted and moved to Wiltshire some 2,500 years ago. This was no mean feat. The stones in some cases were over a tonne in weight, and it's not clear how these were transported. Stonehenge is a mystery with many complex layers and questions that archaeologists still ask today. What was the purpose of its construction in Wales? Why was it moved to Wiltshire? How was it moved to Wiltshire in southern England? I would also like to know, how long did it take? So if you need more time to write down the questions, press pause and then continue when you're ready. Wessex Archaeological Limited, who are the experts on the history of the Stonehenge area, feel that it was a migration of people moving entirely from Wales. Skeletal remains found in the Stonehenge area prove that we had migrants from Europe at that time, so migration from many locations was feasible. What is little known worldwide is that another henge exists only 2 miles away from Stonehenge. This is known as Woodhenge, as this mirrors a circle of monuments in the same style as Stonehenge, but the monuments are made of wood, not stone. What was the true purpose and meaning of Woodhenge? Extensive research work must be credited to the Stonehenge and Avebury World Heritage Site, sponsored by the English Heritage, the National Trust and other historical organisations such as Historic England, Wiltshire Council and Natural England. But key partners involved in the day-to-day management and protection of the area include landowners, farmers and local councils, to name but a few. It's a credit to the communities that they are determined to preserve the monuments that are dotted around the whole area of Stonehenge, and not just in Stonehenge itself. Crucial work is done by the Avebury and Stonehenge Archaeological and Historical Research Group. This research group comprises of experienced archaeologists from strong university academia, often at professor level, driving projects using freelancers and volunteers, all enthusiastically sharing knowledge and resources for the common good of establishing the true history and our authentic roots. The area of the World Heritage Site is vast, and it's worthwhile planning your visit before making the journey, as there is much to see, not just Stonehenge. Let's look at the whole area and see how complex the mystery of the Neolithic structures are to us. So we have Woodhenge to the right and Stonehenge in the centre of the map, only 2 miles away from each other. Neolithic structures did not only exist at these two locations. In the village of Avebury, 24 miles north of Stonehenge, another circle was found by an enthusiastic archaeologist called Alexander Keeler. In the 1930s, Alexander Keeler, a wealthy business owner from Scotland, took a special interest in the monument site, and he purchased the land at this time. His passion, which later became an obsession, was to see the buried and dishevelled Neolithic stones that scattered the area restored to their original upright position, using meticulous archaeology to establish the original boreholes where the stones originally were planted. He was affectionately known as the Marmalade Man, as his business wealth was from the manufacture of marmalade in Scotland. How did he know where to dig? Sheer hard work using the materials and tools of the 1930s showed that some stones were already above ground, but some were buried. So this by now was the third circle, but there was more to come. Unfortunately, due to ill health, Alexander Keeler sadly died in 1955 before his work could be completed. However, in 1938, before the outbreak of the Second World War, a museum was created in his name to acknowledge the hard work his team and Alexander had completed, and the museum was named after him. It is worth visiting the Alexander Keeler Museum in Avebury, which is under the caring wing of English Heritage today. The National Trust now owns the site that he once devoted so much time, but a further circle was discovered buried in Avebury in 1881. Keeler did not get the chance to excavate this circle. At this point, I am more confused than ever to the real purpose of these circles. The experts feel that the purpose was to align the pillars, whether stone or wood, with the sun and moon and even the stars, to worship these natural events. If this is the case, why was a wooden henge constructed only 2 miles away? There is a rather complex and detailed document produced by the Royal Astrological Heritage Society. This committee is in partnership with the Royal Astrological Society. This document can be found on www.stonehengeandaveburywhs.org website. An overview of this document is that they had explored the options of whether the circles were used for divine purposes connected with the skies, they asked, was it a Neolithic calendar? Was it a solar temple worshipping the sun? Was it a lunar observatory? Although some suggest that moon worship was another function. Was it a calculating device to predict eclipses of both the sun and moon? The moon, they argue, was used by other ancient civilizations as a measurement of time in terms of its monthly cycle. Was the sun used to measure seasonal events that affect harvests rising and lowering in the sky according to the winter or summer solstice? They further point to the fact that stone circles exist all around the world, but they are not all positioned to capture or align with the rays of the sun. They are persuaded more that the purposes of stone circles should relate to the sun and perhaps the moon in some way, but there is not conclusive evidence that star positions affected the meaning and purpose of our ancestors' lives. I do recommend you read the document, as it does cover the technical aspects of alignment of the planets, etc. But I still struggle with the fact that at the World Heritage Site location in Wiltshire, there were so many circles constructed when Stonehenge was so close. So in Vision, I first asked, why was Stonehenge moved from Wales to Wiltshire? In Vision, I was shown the following. I saw fighting, conflict, men fighting with large wooden sticks, too many people, not enough food, too many chasing the same food, escape the conflict, freedom, peace. Wiltshire had more land and space. Children would be safe, more food, sell what they made and trade, clothes, pottery, jewellery, food, barley. I saw fish in waters. Rivers in Wiltshire were rich in food. I saw birds in the air, fowl, plentiful in Wiltshire. I heard, sow the seeds in fertile land. They had to get away from sea and bad weather in Wales that had ruined their crops. They felt it was the correct decision to move for the children. Great happiness, no regrets. They wanted rainbows for the children. So this is the reason why the people moved. It was to survive. The stones were moved for another sacred reason. The stones were their heritage, ancestral tradition. They could not leave them behind. The stones were a covenant with their ancestors and brought them good fortune. Blessings were given them if they had the stones with them. They would be cursed if they left them behind. I then asked, how were the stones moved? I was shown the following. I was shown giant horses. They were larger than normal and had a sort of shaggy Shire horse look about them. I was confused. Did horses exist then? I saw a quick flash of the chalk horse on the hills of Wiltshire, known as the White Horse of Westbury. This chalk horse is not the original. This was carved into the hillside in 1778. It is thought to replace a previous carving, however, from the Iron Age. According to English heritage, the original horse may have been carved during the time of King Alfred the Great to commemorate the victory over the Vikings. Whatever its origin, the community wanted to show me proof that horses pulled the stones for them. I asked how long did the move take. I was shown the following. There were 2 stages of the journey. Wise men had done the journey many times before for trade. They were familiar with the route, familiar with the area. Some men, women and children went first to begin construction of homes ready for the next phase. The houses would then be ready for the men and horses that followed over the land with the blue stones for the new Stonehenge. Women and children and the wise men went by boat, as this was quicker for the children who were sick and ill. The children needed better weather. They needed rainbows for the children. More sun, less rain. Timescales, it felt like several weeks from beginning to end. My last and final question was, show me the purpose and meaning of the circles. I was shown in vision the following. Blue stone was considered lucky, and energy could be obtained from the stone. The stone was a conductor of spirits, ancestral spirits. They could not leave the stones behind. It was considered disrespectful to forget the ancestors. The circle was like a labyrinth. The circle represents the never-ending circle of life, eternity. Honour the circle and never forget your ancestors. Wood also was a conductor of ancestral spirits. Stones point upwards like crystals. The bigger the stone in the circle, the more powerful will be the energies. The sun and the moon gives the stones more power, like recharging. I saw the people look up to the sun to warm their faces. The sun they felt on their faces had healing properties and healed the sick children. Rainbows made the children believe that the sun through the rain would make them well again. The circle is like a church before Christ. The energies gave them sanctuary, peace, guidance, a still soul. Touch the stones and you are blessed with comfort and wisdom. I also asked about the stones that were laid across the top of larger stones. Why was this done? I was told, these are gateways, portals. Step through the gateway, archway, and you enter eternity, symbolically stepping from the earthly plane into the heavenly eternal plane for comfort, peace, and to be close to the higher wisdom that they considered to be their ancestors. I asked if they knew of any God. They confirmed that the only God they knew at that time were their ancestors, an afterlife, and eternity. But now they have seen Christ, and Christ has shown them the way. Amen. So the Royal Astrological Society was correct in believing the community studied the stars, but not to use the position of the stars for daily guidance. They looked to the stars for guidance and wisdom from their ancestors. The moon and sun were understood to recharge the stones of energies to strengthen the connection with their ancestors. The sun was seen as a valuable element of warmth, healing sickness, good crops to help them with the scarcity of food, and the measurement of seasons. It's possible that they did use the moon as a calendar, but this was not confirmed by them, so I'm not sure. Most striking to me was the incredible amount of love this community had. Harmony and peace was important to them. and I do believe they lived a very happy and harmonious life, free from conflict at last. I am sure that the children also marvelled at their rainbows. This moved me to tears when they told me about the children. I sincerely hope the children recovered from their sickness and lived a happy, long and healthy life. God bless you, everyone. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.